If y'all haven't noticed, I've been having an ICECO fridge slash freezer in the back of my Expedition, and I wanted to test it out before I gave you guys a real review on the product, and that's what I'm going to do for you right now. Pros and cons. So I installed this ICECO fridge about 3 weeks ago, and so far I've been really enjoying it. Yes, there's a couple cons. I'm going to get to those here at the end. Pros, it's a work of art. It's absolutely beautiful. It also comes in black. I really like the silver though because it pops. They were kind enough to also send me a slider system, which, I mean, just makes the Expedition absolutely look ridiculous. And I love telling people I have a fridge in there. I feel like a true overlander with the slider system set up in here. Things to take into consideration if you are wanting to use one of these for a side-by-side setup. I'm lucky enough I have a fully enclosed Expedition, so I'm pretty spoiled. I went with a giant fridge. I mean, this is 58 quarts, dual zone, so I can do freezer and a fridge, and it's a smart fridge. There's a divider in the middle of it. All I gotta do is just take her out. Now the whole thing's a fridge. It does have an app, so you can completely control it right off of your phone and monitor it while you're driving. Let's see, make sure that everything's still cold, everything's where it needs to be. You can set each zone to whatever temperature you want. They even put a list of food products inside of it, so you know what temperature what product should be at. Also comes with a 5-year warranty, and this is a badass compressor on here. This thing ain't gonna take a poop on you. And another thing about the APL55 that I really like is it works all the way up to 40 degrees. So when you're in an off-roading situation, I mean, 40 degrees is a lot. If you're going more than that, you're probably rolling over. So this thing is gonna work in whatever off-road situation you throw at it, basically. Comes with a regular plug-in to an outlet. Also comes with a cigarette lighter plug-in. So I got this plugged in right to the back of the Expedition right now. Has a very long cord. Even with it drawn all the way out, no problem. Still have tons of slack. So when you open up the fridge and you look inside of it, it can seem almost deceiving, like there's less room than there should be, but you got to take into consideration there's 2.5 inches of insulation to keep the sucker cold. Even if it turns off for a while, your stuff ain't gonna get warm. One of my favorite features that's silly, but I think it's awesome, is the no slam lid. Okay, so they give you some measurements on how much you can really fit in this thing. So here they are. So you could have 76 cans in there, or 47 bottles of water, or 12 bottles of wine. I don't know who's bringing 12 bottles of wine, but good for you. It definitely cools down all the stuff in there super quick. I would say within about 15 minutes. And also, I don't hear it while it's running either. It's really quiet. Along with the no slam lid, these handles always go back. It's got an external and internal light. So if you want a little bit of mood lighting around the camp, or you can't, it's dark out and you don't have no lights on, when you open the lid, you'll be able to see everything in there, get your refreshments, get your trail sodas, wobbly pops. This is a pretty big unit. The reason I went with this size is because when I do my overland trips, I want to be able to bring everything, especially when I'm going to be out there for like 3 days or so. Plus, I'll have room for other people's stuff. I'm usually not traveling alone. In my opinion, if you can fit something like this in your setup, yes. But it's also one of the cons because it is 63 pounds. It's a big girl. So if you're not looking to go crazy big, they definitely have options that are smaller. The baskets. I thought these were kind of silly. Like, why would you want these in here? And then I realized it's not really convenient to be taken in and out of the machine. So I can load all my supplies with the basket. Go inside, get what I want, boom, now take it in. Yeah, the baskets are actually pretty sweet. I don't really have too many negatives. One of the negatives I have is when I turn my car off, it needs 12 volts. My car doesn't have 12 volts. The negatives are mostly because I'm using this in a side-by-side, not in an actual vehicle. So with the side-by-side, when you turn the key off, it doesn't have 12 volts, so this thing turns off. But like I said, it's got 2.4 inches of insulation. I'm not usually sitting forever, so everything is still staying cold. I wouldn't even call this next one really a negative. It was just, you don't necessarily need this big of a dog for a side-by-side setup. It's not necessary. But if you're trying to do big overland trips like I am, then yeah, you do. But there's not very many machines that you can fit this type of setup in. Basically, maybe a Ranger and an Expedition. But when you go onto their website, they got full dimensions and everything on there, so you can figure it all out. And if you do have an Expedition and you are wanting to copy my setup, you cannot go bigger than a 55. I cannot be any longer than this setup. My tailgate and the back seat can perfectly close, and there's still a little bit of space. especially with the slider setup. If I would have put the whole thing sideways, it wouldn't work because the lid only opens this way, and I would be losing all the space for my Milwaukee tools. So when you're picking your fridge, really take all those things into consideration.